Minister Creed, Minister Kine, deputies, ladies and gentlemen, Ambassador if you're present, good morning ladies and gentlemen. It's a great pleasure to be here in Galway. Thank you, Minister, for your leadership of this sector and indeed your leadership of the green and blue sectors, as mentioned, that are contributing so much to Ireland's economic recovery. Please also allow me to express my gratitude to our hosts for convening the summit, and in particular to Peter for his very kind invitation to speak here today. The summit, I've come to realise over the last day, is but just one part of an extraordinary weekend of marine-related activities here in Galway that is showcasing for the world Ireland's enormous blue economy potential. And I congratulate the Marine Institute, NUIG, and all the partners and sponsors involved for the scale of your vision and for the skill of your implementation. This event provides an opportunity to discuss how the blue economy can make an even stronger contribution to Europe's and Ireland's ongoing economic recovery. Just as importantly for me personally, provides a welcome opportunity to return to the Atlantic coast after 10 months in landlocked Luxembourg. It's only when you move away from the ocean you realize how much you value it. As an island people, of course, the shape and story of our economic history has always been intertwined with the sea. Here in Galway, of course, the city prospered in the Middle Ages as a port connecting Ireland's west to the cities of France, Spain, and beyond. It was the sea which gave the city its merchant tribes and wealth. But it is also no doubt true that after a long period of turning our back on the ocean, Ireland has only in recent years begun, through events such as this, to fully appreciate the true potential of our ocean resources and marine regions. When harnessed sensibly, we now know that the ocean can offer a sustainable source of future prosperity. And I want to illustrate how the EIB, the EU bank, your bank, can help in overcoming some of the challenges in delivering this potential. First, allow me, if you like, a shameless plug for the institution for which I now work. The EIB is owned by you, the taxpayers of Ireland and those of the other 27 member states. Through the provision of low-cost, long-term financing for investment projects by both the public and private sectors, our mission is to support EU policy goals, most notably sustainable growth, climate action, job creation, innovation, and economic and social cohesion. We are the largest international public bank in the world, with a 2016 investment volume of about 83 billion euro, to put it into context, about twice the scale of the World Bank. We finance our activities on the global capital markets, using our AAA credit rating to raise funding at the lowest possible rates, indeed in recent years effectively zero rates, but it's for the benefit of our customers. Indeed, as the economic advisor to former Taoiseach Enda Kenny from 2011 up to last September, from my time in government, I can vouch for the fact that the EIB has been a strong supporter to Ireland in good times and in bad. Indeed, over the last 5 years, as many other banks were exiting Ireland, we more than doubled our annual lending volumes, providing a total of 4 billion for infrastructure and enterprise investment across the country, when most other sources of funding were being cut. And as the economic recovery gathers pace, we can and should be expected to finance even more investment in Ireland, both to sustain the recovery in the face of new external threats, most notably Brexit, and also to extend the impact of the recovery into more regions of the country. That is why in December 2016 we established an office in Ireland for the first time, headed by my colleague Cormac Murphy, who's here with us today. Cormac is coordinating the efforts of our teams in Luxembourg to broaden and expand the impact of EIB financing across this country. And our joint efforts with the Irish government in this regard are being coordinated through a new Ireland EIB financing group, which has met twice, established in December 2016 and now chaired by Minister Paschal Donohoe. The efforts are, I can report, yielding results. I expect that this year will be a record year for EIB investment in Ireland, with up to all going well, up to 1 billion of new projects being financed. I'm also glad to report to this summit that an increasing proportion of our financing activities, both in Ireland and indeed across Europe, are to support investments in the blue economy, consistent with emerging Irish, EU, and international policy priorities. Indeed, in April of this year, and I think Minister Creed was present, EU maritime ministers set out an ambition to boost the blue economy to €500 billion per year, employing over 5 million men and women. And the ministers called upon the EIB to use our financing power to help deliver upon this goal. And just last month, as many here will know, and I think some of you were present, the United Nations convened their first ever summit focusing on the blue economy. This provided an opportunity for world leaders, business representatives, and civil society, as well as international financial institutions such as the EIB, to confirm the global importance of oceans, environmentally, socially, and economically. The UN summit highlighted the crucial contribution of oceans to economic and social development, and reaffirmed that the blue economy is key for both economic well-being and environmental sustainability. Indeed, the EIB used that opportunity of the UN summit to confirm our own commitment to support the blue economy, Europe and globally, in the form of our average annual investment of €2.5 billion in marine-related sectors. These EIB-financed investments cover the full range of sectors, both public and private, relevant to coastal regions, and are designed to support the business, environmental, and science dimensions of the blue economy. While every subsector within the blue economy, and there are many, has their own specificities, we see three major common factors holding back its full potential. And these three challenges are challenges that the EIB is attempting to address. The first is the growing socioeconomic and environmental pressures on maritime regions, resulting from the recent economic crisis and financial crisis, population growth, poor wastewater management, in some cases overdevelopment, and even the refugee crisis in southern Europe. The EIB is committed to supporting regions to finance the investments needed to manage these pressures through, for example, our support for the Baltic Sea Strategy, which is a multinational integrated strategy to save the sea, connect the region, and increase prosperity in that region. The EIB has supported the development and financing of wastewater treatment, waste treatment, and other activities such as industrial emissions reductions, which will help reduce coastal pollution. In Spain, the EIB has co-financed rural development plans with measures supporting coastal protection. And indeed, during the period 2013 to 2016, 274 million of EIB-financed investment resulted in the rehabilitation of 2,200 kilometres of degraded coastal areas, implementation of new maritime structures, and remodelling of urban sea facades. Here in Ireland, we have lent 200 million to Irish Water to support investment in wastewater treatment across the country to reduce coastal and river pollution levels. The second factor holding back the blue economy is, at least from an EIB perspective, on occasion weak project preparation skills. No matter how good or inspiring an idea or a plan, the EIB can only finance, and indeed not just the EIB, other financial institutions can only finance well-designed and credit-worthy projects. In many maritime regions across the EU, a culture of grant dependency has acted as a brake on financial sustainability and to access to new sources of finance. But in an era of tight budgets at EU, national and regional levels, a shift from grants to revolving financial instruments, such as debt and equity, is likely to continue. This requires new skills, new approaches, and indeed new mindsets among project promoters. I believe that a good example of this shift to a more commercial and financially sustainable model is the Marine Institute itself, with its high and growing proportion of revenues from commercial research income from public and private resources. And I hope that Peter won't mind me saying that this new model for the Marine Institute has made it possible for the EIB to be in active discussions with the Marine Institute to finance the planned expansion of their own research infrastructure. More generally on this issue, I see an opportunity for closer cooperation between the Marine Development Team here in Ireland and our own EIB advisory services to help develop more bankable projects that we can support in the future. But even with the growing pipeline of well-prepared projects, the third challenge has been, and we must acknowledge this, the reduced risk appetite of the commercial banking sector across Europe since the financial crisis. Commercializing ideas, especially in new sectors such as renewable energy, or scaling up academic research to achieve commercial success, requires financial backing and risk-taking. This can be challenging for existing and new companies to obtain even in normal times. But the problem, as we know, has deteriorated significantly since the banking and fiscal crises, not least here in Ireland. The EIB's role is to help address these market failures. Jointly launched by the EIB Group and the European Commission, the European Fund for Strategic Investments aims to address these financing gaps by mobilizing 315 billion in private investment in projects which are strategically important for the Union. These are higher risk projects, including in the blue economy, that the EIB could not normally finance on the scale envisaged. With this support, the bank is, for example, financing 2/3 of all offshore wind projects in Europe. Total investment in renewables coming to just under 3 billion in 2016. And it's worth recalling that this sector didn't even exist 10 years ago, but is now the fastest growing sector within the blue economy and employs 75,000 people across Europe, which, to put it into context, is more than half the number of fishermen now across Europe. This portfolio of offshore wind projects includes a first-of-its-kind floating wind farm being tested off the Atlantic coast of Portugal. If successful, the possibilities for applying this technology off our own Atlantic coast are clear. We are also supporting the commercialization of early-stage renewable energy technologies such as wave energy. The bank is currently supporting 2 innovative projects of this type, including the pioneering Finnish startup developing so-called wave roller energy technology. Beyond renewables, the EU Bank is supporting research and development in algae-based industries in Brittany, for example. As a result of climate change and pollution, algal blooms are a major problem on the Breton beaches. The investment financed by the EIB supports the necessary process and product R&D and upscaling of facilities to an industrial scale that will transform this pollution into marketable raw materials. The investments help not just the company itself, but also the coastline and the tourism industry in the region. In Ireland, we're financing the transformation of the Port of Dublin at the Alexandra Basin, opening up its capacity to, among other things, accommodate the largest cruise liners in the world. Later this year, we aim to complete terms to finance the expansion of the Port of Cork at Ringaskiddy. And in recent days, our teams have also met with Galway Harbour to discuss potential funding of an extension of the port to free it from tidal and capacity limitations. We are also in the near future expected to extend a loan to the Irish Continental Group to finance the acquisition of a new ferry for services across the Irish Sea and beyond. In addition to our direct lending to large public and private sector counterparts, the EIB, together with our subsidiary, the European Investment Fund, is also supporting partners such as Microfinance Ireland and the Strategic Banking Corporation of Ireland to extend our financing supports to smaller businesses and entrepreneurs, including in maritime sectors and coastal communities. So, ladies and gentlemen, looking ahead, the EIB stands ready to strengthen our support for new investment to ensure a sustainable and growing maritime economy that benefits not just our ports and maritime communities, but established and emerging companies and activities across the whole country. We would welcome the opportunity to strengthen our backing for firms across the blue economy. We call on project promoters in both the public and private sectors to get in touch with us, to get in touch with Cormac in our Dublin office, to see how the EIB can help. Once again, may I thank our host for the invitation here today, and may I wish you the best of success in today's discussions and ventures ahead. Thank you very much.